Hi all, I am Nils Odgren, a solutions engineer with ProWest and Associates, and in today's video recording, I'm going to be walking through the functionality of the MarinMap Road Moratorium viewer application. So to begin going through the application, I'd like to just kind of go over some of the general functionality available within the map portion of this application. So if you follow my cursor to the top left portion of the map, we've got this zoom in button at the very top of the top left menu options, and then we've got the zoom out. So I'll click zoom in and zoom out. Pretty basic functionality to get you to where you want to go on the map. I will say that you can also click around to view the map and then use your mouse wheel to zoom in and out. I know that's probably going to be the common functionality, but I did want to point out the zoom in and zoom out features there at the top left. Below the zoom in and zoom out buttons, we have got this default map view button. And what this is basically just a home button. Anytime you click that button like I just did, it will bring you back to the default extent of the map. So if you're cruising along looking at road moratoriums and you want to get back out to this main view, just click this home button and it will bring you to the view you're seeing right now. Then the next button I want to talk about on the top left map buttons here is the Find My Location button. Now, I won't click this right now because I'm not on a mobile enabled device, but this button will be commonly used in the mobile aspect of this application. So if you're on a phone or a tablet that's got GPS capabilities, you can tap this Find My Location button and it will bring you directly to your current location where you can look around at road moratoriums that are near you in real time. And then I'd like to shift my focus to the top right of the map here. My cursor is hovering over the base map button at the top right here. So I'll click into that base map button. And what we've got here are different base maps. And what those are, they are the settings that will be shown on the map behind the map layers. So currently this gray background map is the default base map for this map, but we have all of these different options in the menu here to reset what that background map will show. Just for the demo's purpose, I'll click on the imagery, and as you can see, that will change that background base map to an aerial imagery. And then if you'd like to get back to the default view, that default base map that comes automatically when the application loads is this light gray canvas. So if you want to get back to that default view after you've played around with some of these base maps, that default base map is light gray canvas. So the next functionality I'd like to talk about is the measure tool, and that is located right below my cursor at the top right of the map, right below that base map button. So I'll click into the measure button here, and we've got two options in the measure menu here. You can measure a distance or an area. So I will start by measuring a distance, and how I'm going to do that is just click on the map where I want to start, and you can click multiple locations to continue your segment. And then when you're done with your measurement, you'll just double click. And once you've double clicked, you'll see your segment has been completed and you've got your distance showing here. Now, the measurement units in the segment measurement portion of the tool are defaulted to imperial. And what that means is on a short segment, I believe it's under 1,000 feet. That measurement unit will default to feet, and once you get over 1,000 feet, it will default to miles. But if you need different measurement units, you can click into this unit drop down, and you've got several different options for measurement units here, such as feet, yards, miles, nautical miles, meters, and kilometers. So whatever you need to measure with, just change in this menu and that will update that measurement unit on your measurement. To clear your measurement and start a new one, you can just click New Measurement, and that will clear your old measurement, and you can begin measuring a second measurement. So pretty clear and usable there. And then the second portion of the measure tool I want to talk about is the area measurement. And this is very similar to the distance measurement. You click into it here, and then you start your area measurement. And again, you just double click to finish that. Again, the measurement unit is going to default to imperial, meaning at a smaller area measurement, it's going to default to square feet. And then once you get to a larger area of measurement, it will automatically change to square miles. And then the measurement tool will automatically give you a perimeter measurement of your area as well. And again, like the distance measurement, you can come into the unit drop down here and change it to whatever area measurement unit you would like. I'll change it to acres just for this example. And as you can see, it went from square miles to acres. And then we will just click New Measurement to clear that, and we'll call that good for the demo. The next aspect of the application I'd like to talk about is the search bar, which can be seen at sort of the top left of the map here below the title of the application. And in this search bar, we've got the ability to search for the site address points layer within the map. So we can search that based on two different attributes of that layer, either the address or the property ID. So I've got a few examples here that I will share for the search. I'm searching for 12 Beverly Way. So as you can see in the search bar, I just did a partial search, and it brought me the options that matched that partial search. So you won't have to do a complete search of whatever you're looking for. The application does have the ability to figure out what you're looking for based on that partial search. So we'll click Beverly Way, and that will bring the application directly to that address point. And what you'll see here is that the address point that I've searched for is highlighted in this blue. And what you can't see, but what it has also done, is filtered all of the other site address points on the map. So if I remove my search from the search bar here, you'll see the map will then show all of the other site address points available on the map. And you can click into those site address points to get further information in those site address point pop-ups. So then the second field that you can search on the site address point layer is the property ID. So I've got another example here to search. And so this is just a generic property ID example I pulled from the existing parcel or site address data. So I ran that search. I'll select it in the search results, and that will bring me directly to that location on the map. And again, that has filtered the other site address points, and it is highlighting it on the map for me. So a pretty simplistic tool, but pretty powerful tool to find exactly what you're looking for on the map and bring you to that location. So I will clear that search again, and I will go back out to the default map view. So the next portion of the application I would like to discuss are the header menu tools, which can be seen if you follow my cursor to the top right of the full application up in the blue portion here. We've got several tools at the top right here. And what I'm going to do is just kind of work my way from left to right here and talk about what all of these tools are. So we will start with the map legend tool, and I'll click that button, and that will activate the map legend here. And what the map legend is that's just a reference of all of the layers that are currently turned on in the map. So I will zoom in to the extent that will show tax parcels and address points, and you'll see on the map legend now those address points and tax parcels are showing. And then if I go back out to that default view, it's only going to show those road moratoriums. So this map legend shows just what is turned on and visible within the map itself. So if you turn more layers on, they will show up in that legend. And then if you reach the extent that they're visible at, they will also show up. So a nice little reference tool here to just tell you what you're looking at on the map. I'll continue working my way down these tools. So the next tool I'd like to talk about is the map layers. And this is where you'll actually control what's turned on in the map here. So we've got the default layers turned on are the road moratoriums, the address points, and the tax parcel layers, which we've seen all three of those at this point. But we do have the city boundaries available, as well as the unincorporated community layer. And so when you turn those on, as you can see on the map, those layers are now showing on the map. Now they're defaulted to off because the map can get a little bit busy once you zoom in and you're seeing the site address points and all of the tax parcels. So those layers are going to be defaulted to off every time you access this application. But to turn them on, you just come into this map layers tool and you can turn them on and off. And then some other neat functionality within this tool is if you click the ellipsis menu at the far right of any layer that you're interested in going into their options. So I'll click into that ellipsis options menu. And in here, you've got the ability to hide labels. So if you watch these road moratoriums, once I click this hide labels, those labels disappear. So it's just a way that you can make the map a little bit less busy if you need to, but you can turn those on and off through that options menu. And then some other neat functionality is increasing and decreasing transparency. And so what that does is if you click on that button, you can see the default road moratorium becomes a little bit more see-through. And then you can decrease that transparency to make it a little bit more permanent looking. And then I'll click it one more time to get back to the default. But this can also be helpful if you've got, say, the city boundaries layer turned on and it's a little too busy. You can change that transparency so you can see things a little bit better. And that can be super helpful when we get to printing the paper versions of what we're looking at, which I'll get into later, but that transparency can be very helpful with kind of customizing a printed map that you might want to print out. And then the last option we've got here in this ellipsis options menu is export. And this gives you the option to export a few different file types. And this is going to be the entirety of whatever layer table you are exporting. So it's not going to be filtered based on what you see on the map here. So if I were to export this road moratoriums to say a CSV, it's going to give me all of the road moratoriums that we're seeing on the default extent of the map, not just what we're seeing here on the this smaller view. So some nice functionality here within the map layers menu. Your more basic use of this is just to turn layers on and off, but you can also use some of these customization tools that are available within here as well. Righty. So I'll go back out to the default view, and the next tool I'm going to talk about is this road moratorium query, which is this magnifying glass with the 1 in it, that little icon. So I'll click on that. And what we've got here is the ability to search by all of these road moratoriums that are shown on the map. And one thing I will mention is that this map is currently only showing the active road moratoriums. So we've got a filter set on this map to only show all of the active road moratoriums. So this will give you the ability to search all of those active road moratoriums by their street name. So I've got a little example put together here. I'm going to type in Cedar Ave. And one caveat to this tool is that your search will not always return results just based on the way that this tool is set up. So if you search for your road and you're not seeing any results, just click this search more and you can see that returns my Cedar Ave search. So I'll click Cedar Ave and then I will click apply. and that will zoom me directly to any road moratoriums that have that Cedar Ave for the road name. So as you can see here on the map, this query has highlighted the different Cedar Ave road moratoriums, and we've got several segments of that Cedar Ave. So what this query does here is that gives you each and every segment's pop-up in the query menu here. So this first one is Cedar Ave, starting location is Laurel Ave, and location is Locust Ave, and it gives you the jurisdiction and the PCI of that segment of the Cedar Ave road moratorium. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click that segment, and that will zoom me directly to that segment. So I know exactly which segment this one is. So you can drill into that data and find exactly what you're looking for. Now I'll go down the other results from my Cedar Ave query, and I will click this next Cedar Ave option. And as you can see, the map defaulted to just that segment of Cedar Ave, and that gives me the information to that corresponding segment. Now, I could continue to go down the list here, and it will zoom me to those segments. But one thing I do want to make sure is known is that you can actually click on the road moratorium on the map itself, and it will give you that same pop-up information that's being shown in the query results, and that will also highlight that segment on the map. So there's a few different ways to see the information that you're looking for based on that specific road name of that road moratorium. And then for demos purposes, I'll just continue to go through the query results in the road moratorium query, and it will bring me to all of those specific segments. So a pretty powerful tool here to drill into that data and find the road moratoriums by road name. So to get out of the query results, you will go up to the top right of the query menu here and select Clear Results. And that will bring you back to no road moratorium segments being selected. And what you can do here is once you've exited out of the results menu, you can run another search for, let's say you want to look at Aberdeen Way. We'll click apply. That will zoom you to that result, and we'll clear that again. And let's say we're done, then you can just click reset. That will reset the filter, and then you can exit out of that menu. So pretty simplistic usability there with the road moratorium query. Just gives you a way to drill into the data and find a road moratorium segment by its name. So I will go back to the default extent using the home button there. And next we will talk about the unincorporated community query. And that's going to be this magnifying glass with the 2 on it, unincorporated community query. Now this is a little bit more simplistic of a query. This query just allows you to search by community name. So I'll just, for example's sake, choose Dillon Beach. So I'll choose Dillon Beach from the dropdown, and then I will click apply. And that will highlight Dillon Beach on the map and zoom me to it. And with this query, basically it just brings you to that location, highlights it on the map, and then you will utilize your map tools to zoom into whatever moratoriums are within that unincorporated community. And you can click around and click those moratoriums to view the information on them, just as we did in the earlier example with the road moratorium query. So pretty simplistic, just gets you to that unincorporated community area, and then you can kind of use the map to navigate to the moratoriums within that area. Again, we will just click this clear results trash can icon to remove that query. Again, we could run another query and have the map zoom us to another unincorporated community, but pretty simplistic. So I'll just reset that query and then exit out. And then I'll go back to that default extent. And the last query I'd like to talk about is the city boundary query. And that's going to be this button here with the magnifying glass and the 3 in the middle of it, city boundary query. So I'll click into that button. And this query is a little bit more robust, and we will eventually hopefully be adding the same functionality to that unincorporated community query. There's just a little bit of data work that needs to happen in the background to get to that point, but I will work through this query and just know that eventually we will hopefully have the same capabilities for this query number 2 here. So what we'll do to start with the city boundary query is select a city name from the dropdown. I'm just going to use Larkspur for an example, and we will click Larkspur. And then one thing I want to note is this note here below the city boundaries label is to select query results to filter road moratoriums on the map. So once I click apply here, it will zoom me to Larkspur. And as you can see, if I select this result in the menu, watch the map and the surrounding road moratoriums that are not within the city of Larkspur will be filtered on the map. So I'll click Larkspur in the results, and now those extra road moratoriums that are not within this boundary are filtered on the map. So pretty powerful there. It will do that filter for you automatically just by selecting that result. And so you can either do the same thing that we did with the unincorporated community. You can just kind of move about this area that's been shown on the map for you, and you can click those road moratoriums as you would like. Or since we've filtered this map, you can go back to the road moratorium query and you can search this dropdown, and now all of the options in this road moratorium query are only going to be the road moratoriums that are within Larkspur, just because this map is filtered. So there's a little bit more usability with this city boundary query than with the unincorporated community query, just with that filtering capability. But pretty usable either way. Just a great way to drill down into this road moratorium data and find exactly what you're looking for. So we'll say that I'm done with my analysis of the road moratoriums within Larkspur. I will clear those results. And as you can see now, all of the road moratoriums that are active are shown on the map again. So then we will just reset that query and exit out. And now we're back to our extent, our home extent. So the next tool I'd like to talk about is the print tool. So we will click into the print tool, and you'll be defaulted into this print template tab on the left side of the menu. And automatically you will have the option to change your title of whatever you're going to print out. So I'll just do PWA test for this example. And then you can choose your template. And what this template is basically just choosing the size and layout of what you'd like to print. You've got quite a few different options here. The A3, A4, those are different sizes, and then landscape and portrait are the layout style. You do have the option to print the map only. I usually just go with the default A3 landscape or portrait. I find it to work pretty well for my needs, but you can feel free to play around with these different layout and template styles and find what works best for you. Then we will go into the expand option here for the advanced menu. And the advanced menu within the print tool will allow you to print the current map extent or current map scale or set your map scale. And this just gives you a little customization ability to set what you're going to be seeing on the map that's printed out for you. I usually just go with the current map extent. And then let's say I just need to print out these moratoriums here on Paul Drive, Mitchell Boulevard, and Mark Drive. My printout will show exactly what this map is showing. So I tend to stick with the current map extent. It's a little easier to understand what you're going to be seeing on your printout, but you can play with these different advanced settings with the extents. And then you've got the ability to add the author name. I'll just add PWA test again, and then copyright will do the same. A lot of people will use this copyright field to put just information about the application, or maybe, information that needs to be conveyed with that printout. If it's going to be, given to another department or someone else, this is a place where you can add some information that explains what that person might be seeing on the printout. And then below the author and copyright options, we've got the ability to include a legend and include a north arrow. I pretty much always select these. If you don't include the legend, someone might get confused as to what they're seeing on the map here that's printed out. So I always select include legend and then include north arrow. It's always nice to have a little reference as to which direction is which, so that north arrow can be helpful. And then we've got the ability to change the scale bar unit, and we will keep this at miles for now, but you can change that to kilometers, meters, or feet. And basically what that will control is what 1 inch on the map equates to. So since this is miles, the scale will show as 1 inch equals so many miles, and we can see that with the print results once they've been printed. Then you can control the print quality here. I usually just leave this at the defaulted 96 DPI, but you can up that if you'd like, or lower it depending on what your needs are. One thing to note is if you do print, if you make this a higher number than 96, sometimes the print result will take a little bit longer to resolve. Then we've got the option to include attributes. And then you can click preview print extents, and what that's going to do is show, as you can see, the map has turned blue, and then if I zoom out, it will update me to this is what I'm going to be seeing on that printout. So this just gives you the area that you're going to be seeing on that printout of the map. So let's say we're all good here. All my settings are what I'd like. I'm just going to click print, and then this little orange circle will appear in the print results. That means that something's going on in the print results menu here. I've got the spinning wheel, which means that the print result is still not completed yet. So we will wait for that to complete. And one thing to note with this print menu is if you are in this for a while and you're, using these queries to find different road moratoriums and you do multiple prints, all of your prints will be saved in this print results as long as you keep the application open. So this will, if you print out 5 different print views, they will all be in here as long as you don't close out the application. Each time you close out the application, these print results will not be carried over to the next time you open it. So just a little bit of further information there. So we'll click into this test print that I just created. And we've got the title here. We've got that zoomed in extent that I had chosen. And then we've got the legend here. We're only showing road moratoriums in this map, so that's the only thing in the legend. If the other, if the cities layer was, say, turned on, that would show up in the legend here as well. We've got the scale bar here. Again, this is showing miles because that's what I had chosen. It will show kilometers as well, just defaults to that. So you'll have a few different options on that scale bar. And then we've got that author and copyright down here at the bottom right. I chose PWA test for both of those, but if you've got further information, this is where that would show up. So pretty simplistic by design. This will just populate in a new browser tab, but it can just be downloaded from here by either right-clicking and save image as, or you can save it up from the menu here in the browser. So pretty basic, but it does give you that print capability if need be. So I'll go back to the viewer here, and that is the print tool. So the next tool I'd like to talk about is the table view. We can enter into the data table by clicking this table icon at the top right of the application that is under my cursor. So I'll click into that. And what this table is designed to do is give people a place to download Road Moratorium data. So what you can do here in this table is you can view all of the fields that are corresponding to that road moratorium data, and you can sort by column. So if you want to sort by the moratorium start date here, you can click sort descending or ascending, and you can do that with all columns. So if you want to sort the street name of that moratorium alphabetically, you can click that, or if you want to get down to the bottom to see the end, you can do that as well. Another thing you can do is select a record in this table and then view it on the map. So I'll go out to that full extent. And as you can see here, that table record that I selected in the table is selected on the map now. So if you find what you're looking for with a road moratorium in the table and select it and then exit out, that will be highlighted for you on the map. So a little bit more functionality with that. And then you can clear that selection on the table and the map by clicking this clear selection button here. And then you can refresh the table to its default view. So that will just get rid of those column sorts that I did earlier. And then next we've got the show hide columns button here. And what you can do here is control which columns and attribute information you're showing in the table. So if I wanted to see the PCI information for all of these segments, I would turn on that PCI field and column, and it would show up in there. We'll turn that off for now. You've got the ability to show the selected fields. And then you can also clear the selection, which will clear all fields. So this table would then show nothing if I chose this clear selection, and then you could reselect the fields you'd like to see within the table. And then we've got these table actions here. So automatically this table is going to show all data tied to those active road moratoriums that are shown on the map. So there's 1,465 records, but in this actions menu, you can set a filter, which can be super helpful. So you can add a clause here. So let's say you want to find all moratoriums that end on a specific date. You could choose that, and then you can set that filter. And as you can see, there are no road moratoriums that are filtered on this date. So we'll remove that, but this does give you the ability to choose a specific field within the table and run a filter on the attributes within that field. So we'll just go ahead and set that back to all. And then the last option within the actions menu here is to export. And this should look pretty similar. We had this same option from the layer list tool, but this is just a place where you can export all of that road moratorium table information into whatever different file type you'd like. Usually people use the export to CSV to get that out to an Excel spreadsheet. That's most common, but gives you a place to download all of this data in a pretty easy way. So I'll just exit out of that table view. And then the last thing that I would like to talk about with this application is this help menu, which this is at the far right of that header of all of these header tools. It's just this information icon. And this will activate a general information window about the app and using the app's tools. as well as a little bit of background information here in red. You can see this just kind of explains what the application is showing in terms of these active road moratoriums and the criteria that we've used to filter to show those active moratoriums. And then we've got just a little bit of a rundown on how to use the queries that I've just gone through. And then we do have one more spot here at the bottom. There's a button that will take you back to that road moratorium download table, just so there's a few different ways to access that. So that is using the MarinMap Road Moratorium Viewer application. If there are any questions that anyone has about these tools and capabilities that I've just walked through in this application, please let Marina know, and she can get you in contact with me or might be able to answer anything question-wise. But my door is always open for questions. Feel free to get in touch with me, and I can walk you through any questions that there might be about this application. But that is what I had for you today to walk through the Road Moratorium Viewer application. So thank you very much for your time, and hopefully everyone finds this application as useful as we designed it to be. Thank you very much.